First, I just wanted to welcome everybody to tonight's Confidence on Course webinar. My name is Jordan, and I'm a Member Services Coordinator with the Metropolitan Golf Association. We're so glad all of you guys can join us here for this very special session. At the MGA, our mission really is to just grow the game and create more opportunities for all golfers to feel more connected and confident, both on and off the course. We're thrilled to have two incredible guests with us today, long drive champion and golf personality Troy Mullins and Ina Kim-Schaad, an accomplished amateur golfer and champion in her own right, who will be moderating tonight's discussion. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to you, Ina, to take it away.
Thanks so much, Jordan. And thank you, everyone, for being here with us tonight. We're excited to do this with you. Welcome to Confidence on Course. I am super honored to introduce Troy Mullins, who joins the MGA today to talk about some of her amazing experiences. Troy became the first African-American woman to win a World Long Drive Tour competition in 2017 at the Mile High Showdown. She holds a world record for longest drive by an American woman of, pause here, 402 freaking yards. A talented golfer and broadcaster, Troy most recently was an on-course reporter and content host for Live Golf. She also hopes to inspire players of all ages, as well as more women of color to participate in golf. She plans to start a charity or work with one that integrates her passion for sports and education. Additionally, she started her own academic and homeschooling business in Los Angeles. Troy has also moved into the space of fashion designing. She does it all, folks. Troy is a graduate of Cornell University, where she pursued a major in China, Asia, Pacific Studies and International Relations. All right, so with that, I guess we'll launch straight into a little bit of getting to know you, Troy, for some of the audience here. Let's start off with a softball here. Can you tell us just a little bit more about your amazing background? I know that you obviously were at this amazing school and you were going to be in international relations. Can you tell us a little bit about where that took you and how you ended up playing golf?
Yeah, so briefly on that, I decided to go to Cornell because I thought I was no longer going to be an athlete. I grew up running track, playing volleyball, multi-sport athlete, but my father was a big deal in track and field, and so there was a lot to live up to there, but I had the speed and I enjoyed the sport while I was in high school, and I was like, you know what, I'm ready to give it up. And so I went on this path to become a Chinese ambassador. And it's funny thinking about it now, because when I went to Cornell, my friend, who was 2 years older on my high school team, was like, you're just going to quit sports. Like, that's your whole life. And I was like, it's okay. So she convinced me to walk onto the team, just kind of as like a casual thing. And then I ended up being a part of the traveling team. I fell totally back into track and field.
Oh, amazing.
But then my major, it took us to Beijing. So I studied at Peking University, Beida. And then we also spent a semester in DC. And that's kind of where I stopped running track. And now I'm kind of deciding, like, I don't feel like a politician. Like, I feel like I want to be an ambassador, but more for people, not necessarily just this world of deals and slick talking. It just wasn't my vibe at all.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to Cornell, when I went to Beijing for that study abroad, we had to find an internship, and I actually found an internship at the Grand Hyatt Hotel, which is crazy, as like public relations assistant, and I was just basically translating their ads to make sure that they were correct and proper in English from Chinese. And so on my days off, I found this driving range, and I would ride a bike from the campus to this driving range in the middle of nowhere. So imagine like a Black girl like me, like with big hair, riding in Beijing to a driving range just to kind of like get out of school, just something to do.
So wild.
And it's funny because I say I started the summer after college, but really I kind of just used golf as an escape. And I would sit there, and I could speak at the time, like I was very fluent, and I would sit there and just like take it all in, like take in the fact that I was in China, but I was hitting balls and I didn't know what I was doing, but nobody judged me because I didn't really know what they were saying about it anyway. And But anyway, so I came back to LA, and again, I was like, okay, what is my path? Like, am I going down this road? What do I want to do? And I spent the summer on a driving range. I got a job there and I fell in love with the game. And I tell you, like, when I learned how to connect an 8-iron to a 150-yard white flag, someone's like, oh, you should be pro. And I was like, don't challenge me. And so that's kind of where my golf journey started. But yeah, it's literally just started as an accident in Beijing, and then, outings with my godfather, who eventually just kind of took me under his wing for golf.
Oh, that's amazing. I wish if we could somehow track down that person that said you should turn pro.
Somebody walking by. It's like, oh yeah, okay.
Now, coming from such an amazing background of high level, track and field, and then obviously with the political world and being able to translate, and then the working world of advertising, and then shifting to golf, what surprised you most about the golf world when you first entered?
I think I still have a lot of conceptions about, we always say it's a rich white man sport, right? Let's just say what it is. And
sure.
When I first got into it, I was surprised that when I started going to tee times on my own, I was obviously really nervous. And when you're a beginner, you don't want to look foolish. But what was so nice, especially, I mean, at least for us in LA, every foursome that I joined was so diverse. And so I loved just getting to the tee to to see who I was going to meet. And I think that was the most surprising thing, that I became friends. Like, I remember going to dinner at somebody's house with their wife, and like making friends with people that you just otherwise would never meet.
That's so sweet.
And the second part of that is just mansplaining. Like, I've never met so many men um, that want to tell you how to swing. And so going to the driving range was its own experience of just so many people trying to tell you what they learned from somebody else, and just so much unsolicited advice. And so those two things are very different, but I was surprised to meet people in so many different ways.
Oh, well, I love the first part. The second part's an interesting thing, because I do think that golfers of all abilities do kind of come across that. And so how do you kind of deal with that situation politely?
It was hard. I've tried many different ways. I mean, I can tell you what eventually worked, but at the beginning, I think it is intimidating to go there alone. I think even as a male or female, right? Any age, it's intimidating to go to a range and have to practice something that is so difficult.
Mhm.
And trying to find a range where I felt like um, less crowded. So I would go at like early in the morning, not late at night when everyone's off at work.
Yeah.
Early in the morning.
Pro tip, guys, go
Um,
early.
yeah, or you find certain ranges. Like, I've had to find certain ranges where even the afternoon was just people that didn't want to bother you, that were working on their own thing. So I was driving everywhere in LA, I tell you, to find a place. I've been to every range. Um, but I've tried putting in headphones. That doesn't work, because then they're still talking to you and like, hello. And I'm like, yes, thank you. But I
Crazy.
think saying like, thank you, I'm working with someone, appreciate the tip, I'm
Yeah.
working on this, I appreciate it, thank you, is kind of like, you just have to say it, and you have to be
Yeah.
brief. People
Perfect.
do want to start conversations. It's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good advice. Now, I know you mentioned your godfather a little bit, but I'd love to hear if there were any early mentors or role models who helped shape your path in golf.
My first coach was Rick Sessinghouse, and I went to him because I remember when I was first kind of working with my godfather, who helped me with the basics, right?
Mm.
Um, I wanted to figure out how to not get frustrated. My biggest problem was not that I couldn't hit the ball. I was just, every time we went on the course, I was so upset. And I have a quick little story about that. But
But,
um, my godfather, who, I mean, I've read a lot of Tiger and his father's books about how, he would try and train him mentally and distract him and do things. Okay, I get
Mhm.
it. When you're a kid and like it doesn't bother you, that's fine. But when you're an adult and you're trying to figure out how to hit the driver and it goes in the trees, the last thing you want is for somebody to say, George, George, George is the jungle. And it just haunted me. It haunts me now, just thinking about me looking in the trees for my ball, and he's just chatting away, like saying this from the fairway.
That's
Um,
hilarious. And this is your coach.
this is my godfather. So
Oh,
then
this is
I
your
had to
godfather.
find,
Wait a minute. Okay.
I had to find a coach to help me mentally. So I went to Rick Sessing house, and he gave me a lot of foundational things just in terms of like pre-shot routine, how you think on the course, like
Mhm.
uh navigating the course, choosing clubs, and it was really he was a great first mentor.
Oh,
But then after that, I think just in the years that I've been golfing, Pat Dempsey I met for long drive, George Gankis for long drive as well. And I've been so fortunate to meet all these different coaches at different times, kind of like when I was ready along my yellow brick path, yellow brick road.
yeah.
But a lot of my golf knowledge, I feel like I've read a lot of different books. Um, and a lot of it has come from just watching other great players. And Freddie Couples was one that I admired his tempo and his swing, and I watched hours of Tiger and Freddie swings. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Now, I know you mentioned that you read a lot of books. Is it possible to single out one maybe for the crowd here that really changed you or helped you a lot?
Yes. I hate to tell because it's like my secret. No, it's not a secret, but it is. It's so helpful. I read it every year, at least a couple times. It's Ben
Mhm.
Hogan's Five Lessons, and it's
Oh,
so
classic.
simple.
Yep.
It is a classic. It's simple. There's diagrams on how just from the beginning to grip it, how your stance, your posture, your weight distribution. Um, yeah, because kind of when things go, awry on the course, you kind of have to start from the beginning. And that's one that always just keeps it simple, and lets me find my
Perfect.
swing again.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Now, how did you first discover, from golf, from going to the range in China and then driving all around LA, how did you possibly discover long drive?
Yes. So I became a starter at Brookside in Pasadena.
Oh,
Um,
awesome. Beautiful.
yeah, I forgot you're LA too. Okay.
Yes.
So I was a starter at Brookside, and there was a female pro golfer, Jenny Lee, who we are still good friends today.
Oh,
And we were golfing on my off, like just when I was off, we went out, and I think I hit it. She still laughs. I think I hit it like over 100 yards past her. And she was like, "What is this? Like, do you know how far you hit it?" And I was like, "No, because I've only at that point played with men, and I didn't really have a gauge for female professionals, how far they hit
mhm.
it." And so she's like, "There's a thing called long drive." And I had no idea. So I
Wow.
literally looked it up on Facebook. It was in Remax, Mesquite, Nevada. And I didn't know anything about it. I just bought
Wow.
I bought my first, like, not used, because at this point I was using, like, when you don't need new clubs when you start. So I had all these used different sets that kind of
Yeah.
worked for me. But I was so excited. I counted my pennies, like not literally, but almost. For a $400 driver was just insane to me.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and drove to Mesquite, and that was my first long drive event. And I hit it 321 on my last drive, and I was
Wow.
in first place until I was beat at the last second, um,
Oh,
by Sandra Karlberg. And but wasn't like it was. I still feel it, and I still remember how amazing it was to just go on this adventure by myself
wow.
and kind of believe that I could do something I had no idea what I was doing and show up.
That's amazing. Now, is this possibly Jenny Lee from Duke? Different Jenny?
No, not that Jenny
Okay.
Lee.
I'm like, I know her too. Anyway, moving on. That is an incredible story. To be leading at the end and actually, do you find that the way that it finished in the first event, if you'd won your first event, do you think you would have had the same motivation to kind of really push?
I like that. No, probably not.
Yeah,
I
isn't that
do like a
fascinating?
chase. I like a chase and a challenge.
Yeah, it would have been too easy
Um,
if you won your first one out not knowing anything.
I agree. And it just the winning,
Incredible.
eventually winning was sweet when it happened. So you're
Oh,
right. Winning the first one wouldn't have been as fun.
that's awesome. Now, I know that the folks here are really going to be interested in this question. So, can you share a little bit about what your training regimen looked like as you kind of really got into the world of long drive and how it became different from what you were already doing to stay fit? Obviously, you were in amazing shape, but what changed for you and how do you view the fitness part of long drive now?
It's interesting because I have to take what I have, right? Like I'm not built like a lot of the male long drivers or even some of the other female long drivers are really strong, right? I came with speed. And so I remember when I was first training, I kind of kept up a lot of the plyometrics and speed training that I did with track and field. But
Hmm.
what I added, and honestly, I wish I still do some of this now. It was a little bit easier then. Um, Yoga Works. I don't even know if they still have any franchises or anything left, but I'll just
Yeah.
explain it. But Yoga Works had um, just an array of classes from like Pilates to the TRX to yoga. And I tell you, like, just all body weight,
Mm,
like movement, I was so strong in a different way than I've ever been with lifting, actual lifting. And I know that there's so many
interesting.
benefits to lifting, but
Yeah.
my body was just so different. I was so flexible and so strong in these, like, in a lot of those elastic kind of quick muscles.
Mm,
And so if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably do the same thing. My Pilates teacher was just incredibly strong and had a way of pushing me in almost in a shameful way, like really, Troy, like, but in a nice, like, that's all you got. But it was like so like a quiet shaming that I needed.
yeah,
And sometimes you need that. Like, I don't, you know what
for
I
sure.
mean? Like somebody
Hmm.
that's too soft, I'm not gonna do it. But when they tell you, like, is that all you got? And it's like, do I?
Yeah.
Um, but
No,
yeah,
I think your godfather primed you a little bit with the George of the Jungle.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so a lot of the strength training is just body weight, yoga and Pilates. I really, really believe in.
Awesome. That's amazing. Now to kind of move towards your success on the long drive, like I mean to win on that tour and by the way, I have a freaking world record is indescribable. What can you talk a little bit about what that means to you, kind of like the crescendo into that moment, and then how you felt afterwards? Did that change who you felt you were, like your view of yourself?
Yeah, I can quickly kind of walk through that whole day. I sometimes struggle with OCD and I try and plan everything and everything has to be perfect. And I just remember everything was not that day.
Mm,
We were late because there was traffic. I booked a hotel not really knowing where the course was, and it took a while to get there. Okay, so now I have less time to warm up, and I just said, okay, I need to get top eight. That was my whole goal. I was like, well, if I at
mm,
least get top eight, I'll make it to the semifinals. But I had, at that point, all of the pressure and all of my expectations were down. I was like, I
mhm.
didn't warm up the way I normally do. Like, I have to this certain amount of balls, and this is how I warm up. Um, so I made it to top eight, and then you go head to head. So now you've got to go against like
Mm,
one on one. You've got eight balls to do it. And I remember again, I just I wasn't feeling confident because nothing was kind of going my way. I had just scraped into the top eight. I was seventh, I think.
yeah.
And I'm hitting these balls and I look up and I see that this girl, there's a scoreboard in front of you and I'm not looking at the names. I'm so focused on the numbers. And she's like hitting it like 360, 370. And I'm like, how? Like, how is she beating me? Right. And I'm just not even looking up anymore. I'm just swinging and swinging. All of a sudden the crowd's like screaming and I'm still going. And then finally on the eighth ball, like I have a video of me grunting. I don't even remember this, which is embarrassing. I still am like, no, that can't be me. Um, I look up and it said 402. Now, mind you, like two other girls right before that went 400, 401, and then 402.
No way.
Yes, and we're all from
Insane.
different countries, which is really cool. And
Uh,
so I look up and I just like I have goosebumps and I'm like the
I
numbers
just
that
got
I were
the
seeing
goose.
were mine. So I was besting myself.
Come on.
Yes. Yes. Like I had her beat already and I didn't even know. Um and it was it was pretty amazing because I was just so in the moment and I was so like focused
Yeah.
and it was cool that three women had broken this like glass ceiling all in the same day.
Yeah.
And, we had a little bit of a break. We came back for the finals and it starts raining. And
Uh,
again, it's just another factor, another thing that I can't control. And I'm in this now, it's the final two or the final two. And Phyllis Meddy is one of my biggest competitors. And she's super tall, she's super strong. She's like 5-time world champion. And again, I just get stuck in the process. I don't even remember the moment. I
mm,
honestly don't. And I just
yeah.
remember just like picking a target, swinging because I had nothing to lose. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's pouring
Mhm.
rain. We don't have rain gloves and there was just nothing I could do about it. And so then everything, all my energy went to it. And again, I remember her cheering and clapping and I look up and I'm like, "Oh my God, I did it again." And I just felt like the reason I got into long drive was so that I could pursue professional golf because at the time it was so hard to get sponsors. And
Mm,
I felt like this was such a good opportunity that we were on Golf Channel, like we could finally be seen and this could lead me into playing professionally. And I just remember that, like, oh my God, I just won this. Like maybe this could change my life.
oh,
And yeah, and it was just like, and then I'm just excited. It's raining. I'm like, what's happening? Like, but yeah, long drive is pretty special. It will always be. I don't know if I'll do it anymore. I'm definitely fast enough to do it, but there's so much that goes into it, and I would really love to just go back to playing stroke play. But yeah,
wow. There's so much incredible stuff there. And I definitely got the goosebumps when you were talking about just beating yourself and having no idea. Um, so like was it the last ball in that first part where you hit the original 402 that you hit, or did you
I don't
miss
even
it?
know what number it was.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing,
I
right?
know
So
it was somewhere near the end, but I was still like in the video. My friend was filming. You hear the roaring, but you can't see
mhm.
the number. I'm still going. I don't look up, not once. I'm just like, okay, T, go, go. Like, yeah.
That's incredible. Have you ever been able to get back into that mode, that zone, that presence, that intensity since that moment?
Yeah, and it's something that coaches always talk about. Um,
Hmm.
it's the moments when, you shoot a score and you're under par, whatever it is, whatever that goal is, and you totally are locked in and you don't even know what you're shooting in the moment, or you're
Hmm.
not really keeping score. You write the number down, but it doesn't have any weight or significance. It's hard to get there. And again, like so many things were out of my control, and I wonder when things don't go perfectly, right? That perfectionism in golf. Um, Maybe we're able to tap into that and we're just a little bit more present.
Yeah, 100%. Now, uh, we talk a lot about things we can control versus can't control and how much we as humans just ruminate on the things we can't control. And it seems like you gave up a lot of that somehow in the moment. How do you, when you train and, as a professional athlete doing those things, like they always say you have to practice how you play. How do you rehearse that possibly? What can you share with the people here that can help them make their practices better?
Um, One thing that like I was saying, one thing I still work on is process and what does that really mean? Um, I I had a laugh with my coach Ronnie Stockton, who helps me with my putting,
Mhm.
and we talk a lot about making putts, right? And I'm always like, "Oh, should I be upset if I miss a putt?" And he's like, "Why does that matter?" Because you're just putting a stroke on the ball. And if you put the intended speed, right? So if I stand behind the ball and I choose my speed, and then the speed chooses the line, determines the line. And if I
Mhm.
make the stroke, then that's all I can do. And if it goes in the hole, then that's just the added bonus. And there's so much in that like even with the drive, if I start it on my intended line with the feel, with the finish, if it's a high finish for a cut or like a kind of at my shoulders for a draw, that's all I can really control. And I think that's just, I wish that was something that was explained to me when I first started. That there's like bring the emotion out of missing because there's so much data in understanding the miss and then working from there.
Amazing. So there's a lot of gold here for all of you listeners. I mean, control seems to be a concept that continues to come up. I think for all golfers, definitely, whether it's long drive, whether it's putting, but just the game itself. What has been a helpful tool for you? I mean, you've done this for so many years that it's very easy for you to say, I can let go of control and I only think about my process and immerse myself. And if I put it on the line and speed, like it's so much easier said than done. Do you have any tips for people who are like, as you maybe control freaks, or they have to know, or they want to make everything, or they want to be perfect? Like, how do you help these people to just start tomorrow on a new page with just letting go a little bit?
Well, I wish I could say I've perfected this need for perfection. It's a work in progress, guys. But I think starting tomorrow, if you're someone, one thing, if you're someone that gets frustrated on the course, one thing that's kind of helped me reframe where I'm at, or reframe the annoyance at myself for not being perfect. I just try to be present. And what that means is like, I literally take a moment, take a breath, and I describe what I'm smelling. I describe what I'm feeling. I describe where I'm at, like the colors, the trees. And I know that sounds really like amateur, but it literally, I have to take a step back. And then I have to say, okay, I'm on the golf course. Like, this is such a privilege. And it's such a great space to be in. I'm outside, I'm healthy, I'm doing something I enjoy. Okay, now take it further back. What did I do? Why am I trying to be perfect? And does that miss really matter? And what can I learn from that miss? But it's like a process, right? Because you've got to kind of take it down to back to, okay, we're here on the course. Let's enjoy ourselves and learn from what we just did. And that's not easy. Still working on, even on the range, you can get frustrated with like, oh my God, I keep slicing. And you're like, okay, so I'm hitting it right. Let me aim more left. And some days you just hit a fade and that's okay. So how can I step back and be like, okay, my body doesn't want to turn it over. So where can I aim from behind the ball to kind of start over? And just accepting whatever swing that you have for the day and don't change it. So it's a lot of accepting and grounding.
I love it. There's just so much good stuff in there. First of all, just reframing to being present, and really using gratitude as a tool to bring yourself back to the present as well. And as you said, a lot of acceptance in things you can't control and where you are. I remember having a great coach from the South, and he always used to say, "Dance with the one that brought you." Right. So if you're hitting a cut today, you better hit that cut. Just commit to it. And so I love that. That reminds me of him. And I love that you're saying that. So, they often say that golf mirrors life and life mirrors golf. I think a lot of the lessons that you've just, spoken about tells us a little bit about that. What are some of the biggest lessons that golf has taught you about life?
Man, I think one of the biggest ones, and I just posted about it just a couple of days ago. I used to go to this course in Santa Ynez Valley, La Purísima. And I would go there because it was out of LA. It was like 2-hour drive. It was a nice little coast drive. But when I got there, it's such a challenging course that I'd like to live up to this challenge. Like I was like, one day I'm going to shoot par here. And let me tell you, I still haven't. I've been close. It's just one of those, like, especially in the afternoon when it's super windy. Oh my gosh. But I used to go there and not be bothered and really fell in love with my swing and just what I was doing and my own aura of like how I wanted to dress and like feeling like yourself. So I think one of the biggest lessons for me was learning to accept my swing. I've had a lot of coaches that have tried to change my swing.
Mm.
And I also struggled for a few years where I quit in the middle of this journey because I lost it. I couldn't hit the driver. I couldn't hit my irons. When I tell you I couldn't hit it, I couldn't hit past the red tees. Especially after that first long drive event, I was pretty broken. And it was because someone, they said, if you want to go pro, you have to do it this way. And um, yeah, it just broke down my self-esteem. And it took a while to get back, to be honest.
Wow.
And even just, even though I've like loved the game and I've loved meeting a lot of people, to be honest, like there's some not nice people.
Mhm.
And I've had some really interesting experiences. Um, but no, just going to this course just grounds you in a different way to accept like who you are solely, like fully. Um, and golf has taught me just a different type of love and patience.
Mm.
And to be honest, that like you can whatever whatever it is in your life and your goals, like you can do anything.
Aw.
And just loving the process of whatever you choose to do, whether it's starting a business or like starting this motherhood and like becoming a mom, like
Mm.
I kind of treat it the same way. Like I'm all in on like my daughter and like literally like I will read books about what toys or what books she needs to read, and I treat it the same way, and it's just like such a challenge, and it's so great to see the process. And I think that's what's so lovely about golf.
Oh,
um it just the progress that you make in golf, it just mirrors your life, and I love it so much.
that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. And it seems like too, even, those tough moments, there were some big lessons in there as well, right? With, how would you kind of verbalize like going through the lowest of the lows, but then realizing that, ultimately these things that other people are telling you to chase is not your version of what greatness is. And ultimately we all have to unlock the greatness in ourselves, which is looks different for me, which looks different from you, which looks different from somebody else. And how can you verbalize some of that message in your own journey?
Yeah, I think if I wasn't trying to go pro, especially after college, maybe some of the advice would be different, right? If I was just trying to play casually.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I just it's it's tough. I That's a tough one to answer.
Okay. All
I
right. Well,
don't know
thank you
why
for
I
sharing.
don't.
I just think
Yeah.
it's such a powerful moment. I think that, people see like you're such an amazing achiever, like all of the things on your resume, Cornell, like working in Asia, like getting into long drive, world record, like it just seems like you're always at the top. And I think people from the outside need to hear like we all have struggles, and they're really real. Like you almost quit and yet you came back and now you have this amazing career in broadcasting and all these wonderful things that have come to your life because you stuck with it. And I think that's just an amazing, inspiring message for everyone, including your daughter, by the way. And it's amazing what you've done. Really, really
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, I definitely see in the last few years it's changed. I'm so excited to see so many different women coming into the sport. I don't think they will have to deal with some of the same comments, right? Like
Mm.
as much as um it is a male dominated sport, there's also it is a male dominated mentality. Um and I think that's changing. I'm definitely seeing a shift. Um
And you're part of that shift, Troy.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
But no, it's hard whatever business you're in, because I'm sure whatever industry someone else is in, you've experienced some of this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um but in it's just funny to have so many doors opened and then to have to figure out how to um almost learn another language, right? I laughed because I was fluent in Chinese at a time, and then I had to become fluent in a different space.
That's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but no, I think it didn't break me in the moment, but what gets me emotional is I see how I shifted. I see how I what is the word? I acclimated, but
Mhm.
I changed myself a little bit. I was a little bit less me to fit
Mhm.
in this space.
Mm.
Um,
But you feel like you were able to reclaim yourself afterwards.
yeah, like in the last few years, I feel like I could see that, and I'm like, oh wow,
Mhm.
like how did I go here? Let's get back. And I've always had the same spirit. Like I've always gone into every experience just excited and just, I love new experience. I love meeting people. So I've always been optimistic, but then
Yeah,
I catch myself like drifting and into another version of me that's closed off, if that makes
sure.
sense. So,
Yeah, definitely. Well, I do want to ask you one more question, but I just want to prime the group here. If you have any Q&A, we're going to take Q&A next. So please go ahead and type whatever questions you'd like to ask Troy in the Q&A button at the top. And while people are thinking about Q&A questions, I'd love to ask kind of what's next for Troy in the golf world or beyond. I know you have a lot of kind of side things going, and you're so passionate about all that you do, and you pour yourself into it. So what are you excited about?
I'm really excited. I just started the PGA program. So I'm halfway through to get my Class A, and so
Mhm.
I'll be a part of a PGA America. And what I want to do with that is I would like to create my own clinics in different cities for my community, for women, um, just kind of what we've talked about today, getting confidence, starting the game, and just how it can kind of just change your life, even if you don't go pro. Um, just the benefits of golf, and also working on finally my own clothing line.
Oh, amazing. And what do you,
Yeah.
how do you see your personality coming out in your clothing line?
I mean, I think golf fashion has changed over the last decade, but I am someone that likes comfort, but not revealing. I'm more of a classic style with body conscious classic style. If that makes any
I love it, makes total sense. Absolutely. All right. Do we have any questions out there that people would like to ask? If not, I have so many questions, Troy. I just love talking to
sense.
you. So while we wait for some other questions to come up, um, you know, as you kind of look back and, whether people are scratch or they're just starting the game, like, how do they keep it fun? I know you talked a little bit about getting frustrated and expectations, but like what's a very kind of lifelong thing that people can hang on to other than, obviously being present is important, but like how do you keep the fun part of it?
The fun part of golf. I mean, if you started golf, there's some part of you that enjoys a little like, I don't know, you have to enjoy being beat up. Like, like there's something that you like where you want
We're
to
all
lose.
masochists. Yeah.
A little masochistic, but
Yes.
like I think you have to remember that there's always something you can learn. There's always a new shot. There's always a score to chase. There's always a new course to beat. There's always a friend to beat. There's a lot of games too, even if you're not betting, not the betting type, because I'm so risk averse. I don't even know how I play golf. But there's games like I remember playing a game where if you're playing one-on-one with someone and you lose a hole, they get to take a club.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so
that's amazing.
yes, and so you're down, you don't ever get to regain that club. And so you could be down like a 7-iron and a putter,
Wait,
but
do
they
they
get to
choose the club or
choose.
do you get to choose
They choose the
the
club.
club?
And that makes it not only challenging because then now you're forced to hit clubs you might not normally hit, but you don't want to lose. And there's a different intention. There's a
That's
different
incredible.
focus that
I'm
comes
so
up.
busting out that game next time. That's amazing. I'm going to give you full credit.
Okay,
That's
good.
awesome. All right, we've got a couple really cool questions here I want to ask from Morgan. What is one habit or routine you rely on before competing that helps you stay grounded?
Ooh, a routine that helps me stay grounded. Um, well, one thing I like to do is I will choose a playlist beforehand. It's something too, like if I'm working out or cooling down. It's the same one, and it's like feel good songs that kind of get me in the right mentality. So I'll listen to it either like on the way to the course, like even if I'm like just warming up, like on the way, like, to the driving range or putting on your shoes, whatever it is. I try to get in the right mindset with good music, or just having, a good conversation if you have a caddy or a friend, um, and they know that you kind of get in your head. You can ask them to ask you about a time that was like a good fond memory, and even just like recounting something like that just puts you in the right mindset.
Love all of that. That's awesome. And Joseph asks, what's a hobby or interest that you have that fans might be surprised by?
Oh man. Um I don't know if people would be surprised. I mean, this morning at 3, I was like, let's go dig in the garden. I am like an avid gardener now. I don't know why, but I am obsessed with gardening.
Like
Um,
flowers,
no,
plants,
all edibles.
vegetables?
All
Okay, all
edibles.
right.
So yeah, all vegetables. Right now we're doing leafy greens. In the backyard, we have raspberries and blueberries, and strawberries. Those are new.
Amazing.
uh yeah, a guava tree, just random exotic things that I didn't even know
All
could
right,
grow
now
in
you're
this
just showing
climate.
off you're in California and you've got good weather.
I
Guava.
know,
Come
I
on
was
now.
gonna say we have good weather. I mean, I read a lot. Like, I'm pretty nerdy, but that's like to be expected. I think whatever. I'm nerdy, so that's not a surprise.
That's awesome.
But I dig in
Um,
the dirt in the dark.
that is actually pretty hilarious. 3 a.m. is a little extreme.
Well, because I go to the I have if I go to the courses, I leave at like 6:30. So I've got to
Yeah,
get it
beat
in.
the traffic. Yeah, and the heat. Okay, fair.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see. Jordan wants to know, how has your training routine evolved since becoming a mother?
Oh, it's like lack of involving. Like it's like gone the opposite way. It's so hard. My
It's,
daughter is like, easily 36 pounds. So now it's evolved into just lifting her all the time.
I mean, mom
Um,
arms are real though, right? All mom,
it's real.
it's so
Okay,
toned.
there was a long drive event that I was considering going to, and I hadn't hit a long drive club in a long time. Like when I tell you a long time, like 2021. Anyways, and if you don't know the difference, they're a little bit longer, um, a little bit stiffer. And so initially USGA rules were 48 inches,
Hmm.
but now it's 46. So the most I could go comfortably now is 46 and a half to stay within the long drive rules, 48. Anyway, so I went to the range again with Jenny Lee, who's now out
Oh,
here, and we were just having fun, right? And I was like, there's no expectations. I'm probably not going to swing it fast. And I got my club head speed to 124, which was faster than I was then at 122. And I
crazy.
was like, mom arms. Literally only thing I've done different.
That is
um,
awesome.
yeah, I'm running a lot more. I wish, again, I haven't found a Pilates place out here that I've consistently gone to again, but yeah, the lifting of a kid is different. So
I mean, well, the other magic words you said around that 124 stamp is you had no expectations again. So that seems,
again,
yeah,
and then
very
as
good
soon as I
memory
tee it up,
though.
I'm sure it'll just all out the window.
And let's see. Matt would like to know, have you played any golf courses in the NYC Met area and any favorites?
Oh, oh. Um, 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 I don't know if this is in the Met area. So I love Centennial, which is in Carmel, New York. Is that too far? Is that in the area?
I don't know,
Oh, I don't know.
but go ahead and tell me
Um,
because I
well,
don't know
anyway,
my
Centennial
geography.
is in New York. It's in Carmel. It's like, okay, it's like an hour and a half maybe. Love that course. I actually have fond memories of that course. We were looking for a driving range before going to that long drive event, and I needed a range that was long enough. So my husband, my boyfriend at the time, called the pro and said, "How long is your driving range?" And the pro was like, "Why?" Like, and he was like, "Well, my girlfriend needs a range that's long enough for her to hit on. And so when we get there, they thought this was the most bogus like call they've ever heard. Like, why does somebody need a long range?
Amazing.
Um, and anyways, so I went there and that's where I would practice before long drive events. And they have 27 holes. They also have an event called like the knee buckler where they put all the pins in the most challenging places.
Oh,
This course is
awesome. Love
absolutely
that.
beautiful. Um, Definitely my favorite course in Europe. I've played a few other ones. I do like Fairy Point. Um,
Nice.
but Centennial wins it for me.
That's
There's
cool.
a lot of great courses, but that one just has
Kevin,
fond memories.
Kevin of the MGA just confirmed it is an MGA member club and it's a great 27-hole public facility. Yeah. Thumbs up there. Way to go. And I think we'll finish on this question here from Toasty. What are some common mental mistakes you see amateurs make and how can I avoid them?
Um, Ooh, that's a good one. I think one that I can relate to uh, is sometimes when you get over a shot, not picking a shot shape. I think
Hmm.
whether it's driver ironed, you see where you want it to go, but you don't decide, hey, I'm going to hit a draw here, and you don't rehearse what a draw feels, what it feels
Mhm.
like. Then stepping back, picking an intermediate target, not looking at the pin, but saying, hey, I'm going to start this draw right of where I want it to land. And I still make that mistake sometimes too, especially with driver and the amount of speed I can generate. I don't choose a strong enough line sometimes.
Mm.
So I think that's really important is to work on the range of what your feels are. Say, if you're hitting a draw, what does that feel like? So when you go on the course, you take it with you and make that decision before you step into the ball.
All right. So I'm hearing like be very precise with your target, be super committed before you walk in, and make sure you're super locked in before you walk in.
Yeah.
All right. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you for your amazing questions. Troy, just incredible. Thank you for sharing all your incredible stories, the laughs, the lows, all of it. Really appreciate your time. And thanks everyone for logging in. And have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us.